come back. There's the GLGG from the two players, and we are going to start the countdown, transitioning into the game. It doesn't get more exciting than this, man.
No, absolutely.
This is... Can Minigun do it? What do you think, man? Shakura's Plateau, the map chosen by the purple Terran player in the top right-hand location. Of course, Minigun spawning as the red Protoss player in the bottom left. aLive picking this map. And honestly, in PvT, when I get Shakura's on the ladder, oh man, dude, I know it's in for. I know we're in for a very micro-intensive game.
Why don't you let us in and tell us exactly why? What experiences do you have on the ladder against Terran? Actually, like specifically on this map, I guess.
Yeah, man. I mean, let me change the overlay really quick so I can have the right colors. Minigun is red, not blue. There we go. They're perfect now. Yeah, man. Shakura's. It's kind of like Antigua. There's so much airspace. It's like it's such a huge headache dealing with drops on this map. I mean, a medevac can just chill anywhere in the air. Anywhere they want, and you can't do anything about it. What are you gonna do? Drop a Stargate and go Phoenix to try to get rid of the medevacs? No, you have to be so cautious. And if you miss micro just a little bit, and a medevac gets like a bunch of units down and starts going after your economy and stuff, and of course it depends at the time of the game, it can be absolutely just a huge headache. I've broken many a keyboard after finishing a PvT on this map on ladder. Just kidding. But it can be very frustrating for a Protoss player if they don't multitask correctly, if they don't split their units correctly, and if they don't see the drops incoming from their opponent.
Yeah, that's a really valid point. And again, you take into consideration if you take that third expansion right under the natural, it's a pretty long way to get into your main base if drops are happening in your main base. It can really catch you off positions. And again, that frontal expansion, which can be taken as a third, can be hard to control again because if Terran controls the watchtowers, it's so easy for them to just gather up and go ahead and taking out that expansion. But there is a little bit of a sort of a choke point. You can get a few force fields off, defend against any kind of third pressure that Terrans might be able to do to you. But let's look at the openings of aLive. Looks like he's opening up with gas, and the barracks is also down. So maybe gonna be a early tech opening here from aLive. The gas deal is taken by Minigun. What do you think of this?
I like it. Minigun sees the early gas. He's like, okay, you know what, man? I know what you're up to. I know there's a lot of airspace here. Are you going Banshee? Are you going Cloak Banshee? Well, he's going to try to...
1-1-1 is good on this map, too.
Exactly. He's going to try to minimize that potential as much as possible by taking this early gas. Not only does it prevent your opponent from taking a gas, but you can see what kind of units they choose to attack your assimilator with. It looks like aLive going for a second Rax here, adding on a reactor, and we'll have to see if Minigun can identify this and see what's going on.
Yeah, and again, what opening is Minigun going to do? Looks like he's going for a very similar Protoss opening, which a lot of us do, which is the gateway, the assimilator, the cybernetics core. No second gas, and actually...
No! Minigun, I'm sorry. Okay, he didn't mineral walk there. And he didn't mineral walk, which means his probe ran into the Marine. If he had just gotten a pixel forward, he would have seen the second Rax. Did he see the reactor, though? Okay, he did see the reactor, but he didn't see the second Rax. Maybe he can guess. But... Sorry, you can go ahead and continue your thought. That was just a gigantic deal.
No, I mean, I didn't catch that, so that's good for you catching it. But the thing is, aLive is going to go for 2 Rax pressure. He's only showing Marines right now. This is really cool. His tech lab is going to get added right now to the barracks. Going to try to go to work on this assimilator. And what is Minigun going to do behind this? He still has not yet expanded. Going to get a Zealot and the Stalker. So this is a very typical one gateway expand opening from Minigun as he did in the previous games. The Nexus is now finally going to go down here for Minigun. And now the Marauders in production. Looks like Concussive Shell is going to be first in production here from Fnatic aLive. Moving across the map. Is he going to move? No, he is not. Actually, I don't know. He was kind of moving back and forth. But with that being said, man, a lot of Marines on the map currently. Concussive Shell almost completed here for aLive.
Minigun,
and yeah.
He's got to be careful. Doesn't want to lose that Stalker.
Yeah, the Stalker can't
once
die.
Marauder gets a shot off, there's Marauder on the high ground looking at him. But saw all the Marines there. Still hasn't seen the Marauder tech. So aLive could easily come out here with the Marauder and start killing these units. And you don't want to lose these units at this point in the game. Loses one Zealot. And Minigun's still trying to figure out what his opponent is doing. Has only seen the Marines. Hasn't seen the Marauder tech. Just saw the reactor on the barracks. And a lot of things could happen based off of that. Hasn't seen the Marauder tech either. And I'm wondering how prepared he's going to be for this aggression that's going to be incoming. Behind this, putting down his Nexus, putting down 2 additional gateways, chrono boosting out a Stalker. Also has a Sentry here. But aLive going to see everything that's going on, and he's going to start marching out across the map. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that SCV was so crucial for aLive. He actually gets into the base. He scouts. He's going to scout everything, man. He's going to see the gateways. He's even going to see the robotics facility. So he knows that tech is going to be on the way. But just being said, the natural expansion is just going to get completed here for Minigun. Minigun sees the Marauders and the bio units right now make their way across the map. And there it is, man. 46 supply to 37 of Minigun. No expansion yet down for aLive. So he's actually being extremely aggressive with his 2 racks. And yeah, just as you said, it is indeed scary. Minigun looks like he knows, I can't hold this off, man. I'm going to pull my probes. I'm going to go in my main. His second and third gateway is just going to get completed right now. Trying to warp in additional units, a Stalker, a Sentry, 2 Zealots, 2 Stalkers, a Sentry, and 2 Zealots. And that Nexus is going to be so important, man. You don't want to lose this Nexus early on because behind this, aLive is going to expand, and if you lose it, you are going to be in worlds of trouble. Guardian Shield going to go up, and looks like Minigun going to try to engage. Looks like there actually might be a little bit too many units here for aLive to take care of, but he's getting reinforcements. Additional Marines and Marauders are going to join the battle here, and Minigun sort of in a desperate position. He needs to hold this off.
He might have to pull probes here. He overextended a little bit there. Once I get the Terran opponent down the ramp, I back up because they don't have vision anymore. Minigun pulling some probes here, desperately trying to stay alive here against aLive, but some probes are going to go down. Expansion is finally going down for aLive, so this isn't all in by any means for him. Adding on 2 sentries. Needs the force field perfectly here. Gets 1 good force field and needs to get another, and there it is. Perfect force fields there from Minigun. That's exactly what he needed, but has the damage been done? 29 to 25 harvesters. That's not too bad for Minigun. That's not too bad at all. Has 2 sentries on the field. Sure, they don't have any energy, but the art of energy is that it comes back. So he can have force fields a little bit later on in the game. Immortal coming out for Minigun as well. An interesting decision considering his opponent backed up. But then again, the Terran player can easily turn around and go for some more aggression. So just being safe with that Immortal, I'm not too upset with that at all. Obviously, in this situation right now, an Observer would be better, considering aLive did in fact back up. But Minigun just being safe and getting that Immortal first, which is completely fine.
Well, you also have to take into consideration, is this going to be like a defensive Immortal? Looks like it is, because he's not going to follow it up with additional Immortals. He's actually going to get the Immortal, then the Observer, also going to add the Robotics Bay. So it looks like there is going to be Colossus Tech on the map, a solid choice here for Minigun. But aLive now, his expansion is going to be up, but it is a little bit delayed compared to Minigun. Both players are fairly even on harvesters, 38 to 35 into the advantage of Minigun, and more barracks being thrown down here for aLive. Upgrades, let us take a look at, is going to be Combat Shield on the way here for aLive. 3 additional barracks, to be exact, are on the way from aLive, and a Warp Prism in production for Minigun. This is cool, man. He is going to try to do some, maybe some drops in the main, maybe a 2-pronged attack at the natural into the main, sort of use it, I guess, like a medevac maybe, even though Warp Prisms are really, really light. Like, they can die really quickly, but I'm curious to see how Minigun's going to use this.
Hey, man, I said it early on, there's a lot of airspace, and like the Terran medevacs can be a pain. Well, Minigun is getting that Warp Prism out, and that can be a pain as well for the Terran player. However, you know, the natural counter to Colossus is Viking. So naturally, Zergs or Terran players usually going to have a Viking on the field once they sniff out the Colossi production. And look at this. Oh, such heartbreaking timing there for Minigun. The factory sees the Warp Prism.
Gets spotted.
So aLive should be absolutely prepared for this. I say that. And where is his... Did he adjust? Is he sending Marines and Marauders up there? No, he's not. So maybe he didn't see that. Where's his army? Am I missing it? Oh, there's a drop in the back of Minigun's base. I'm like, what the heck is going on? But Minigun scouts it out. It's not able to do too much damage. And he's going to be just fine. And the good thing about that is majority of aLive's army is not defending his base. So we'll have to see how much damage a Minigun can do with this Warp Prism.
Yeah, it looks like actually the medevacs are still near the main here of the Minigun, trying to pick off a pylon. Is he going to get it? Yes, he is, but at the same time, there is a Warp Prism still at the 12 o'clock position here. Minigun kind of deciding, should I go for it, should I not, should I defend my main, what should I do? But with this being said, it looks like aLive ahead in supply, 102 to 87 of Minigun. Double Forges are on the way for our Protoss players, so we are going to see a bunch.
Colossi? Sorry.
There is no Colossus on the map right now. Actually, there is one. There is one. It's by the 3rd, making its way now to the natural.
What is he doing over there? Colossus?
He's hanging out, man. He's talking to the factory. They're having a little moment.
All right, aLive dropping once again in the main base. Minigun doesn't have enough units right now, trying to return stuff up from his natural expansion to deal with this drop. Keep in mind, Minigun has an Observer over his opponent's army that's outside of his natural expansion, so we can keep an eye on that and be adequately prepared. And that's what he's going to focus on right now. However, trying to split up his army once again, sending the Immortal, a couple Zealots down to defend against that. And another force coming into the natural expansion. Very good force fields for Minigun. Able to clean that up. And, you know, Minigun not doing a terrible job defending off this aggression.
And this is what you need to do against a player like aLive. This guy is so multitask oriented. He's getting dropped Excuse me, he's dropping in the main, trying to attack in the natural as well. And Minigun doing a fantastic job of holding it off. He's actually not that much down in supply. 92, he has supply blocked. A little bit of a mistake for Minigun. But again, aLive trying to come in again with that two-pronged aggression, trying to do some damage into the main. But behind it, there is a third on the way from aLive. And yeah, 92 supply, even Chrono boosted the robotics facility. Definitely a little bit of a mistake from Minigun. But again, the drop is going to make its way again. All the medevacs, 4 medevacs are going to drop. And so many units going down here for Minigun. Stimming is aLive, going to focus down the Forges. One Forge is going to go down, cancelled because he wasn't able to get the pylon up in time. And there we go, man. Minigun going to force his probes from the main into the natural. And aLive, overall, a very, very, good engagement. Definitely came out ahead there.
That was the worst supply block ever. That hurt to watch, man. He was at 92 out of 92 forever. And just now, the 4 pylons completed, so he'll be back at 116. Can breathe a little bit again. Dark Shrine is in production, and this Warp Prism is still at the top of the map. So we'll have to see if he decides to use Dark Tumblers with that. But the question is, can aLive try to take Minigun out before that happens? Going to be advancing some units into the natural expansion. Will Minigun be prepared for this? Doesn't have too many units on the field. Going to go straight for that Metal We'll have to see how much damage aLive can do with that. At the same time, dropping with so many units in the main base. Minigun needs to split up his army a little bit better than he has been. And these units can do so much damage right now.
Yeah, there we go. Minigun, he's in a bad position, man. He's getting dropped in the main and the natural, and GG. Minigun knows he's not going to be able to hold it off at two-pronged attacks. That's just the multitasking of aLive, man. He knows what to do. He knows exactly when to do it, and he just went ahead and did the two-pronged attack against Minigun. And with that being said, I guess aLive is going to be up now 3-1 in this best-of-7 show match, guys. My name is Promise. Co-casting with me is Axeltoss, and I think we're going to a quick commercial break.
Yeah, we're going to go to a commercial break. Naquad saying herp derp tearing drops in the chat. I said it early on in that game, man. Drops are so darn good on Shakur's plateau, and remember he was dropping on the low ground and then just hitting the units on the high ground, and then once the high ground units backed up, he lifted up in the medevac and dropped on the high ground. Oh, it's so frustrating as a Protoss player to deal with that, but I'm not biased. No, I'm not. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be jumping into game number 5 between aLive and Minigun. aLive currently up 3-1. Can Minigun come back? Don't go anywhere.